First, I had very good medical treatment. So the reason I could come back into a car is because I was lucky that all my injuries healed so quickly that I could do it. But the biggest problem then was how to overcome the psychological fear of having another accident like this. So I tried to approach it in a simple way, which the first step I took is I don't want to stop racing because I have an accident. First of all, I know motor racing is bloody difficult and dangerous. So to have an accident is not a surprise. I mean, it's normal. So I could cover this part of it, where I've told myself, if I want to stop racing and if I'm able to race, I want to take my own decision and not be forced through an accident. Lucky enough, my accident was not big enough to make me stop. So I wanted to come back because of this motivation. But really, I was sitting at home then, looking down on the lake, and I was thinking how to approach the race now and how to overcome fear, because fear is there. So I put some good music up and I got myself into a good mood. And then I was looking down on the lake and I said, no problem. I go to Monza and I do this and I do this corner and that, and everything was very well planned, and I was psychologically in a very good shape because everything I worked out with myself was right. So I took the plane, went down to Monza, got into the car on the first day of practice, and there it was half dry and half wet, so difficult conditions. So I remember that I went out of the pits, and when I changed into second gear, I suddenly couldn't drive. I was so frightened, but I mean second gear is 100 kilometers and it should go around there with 300. So my heart started beating, and I tell you, I didn't know what to do. I was completely shocked of the moment of accelerating and maybe having an accident right away again. So I did one very slow lap and I stopped. I told to the Ferrari people that I can't drive. So I got out of the car, I went back to the hotel, and then I remember I had a terrible night because I was sitting there thinking what to do. So I said, I'm an idiot, because first I come there, I'm completely happy, then I finally get in the car, then I can't do it. So I really forced myself to take a decision, do you want to do it or don't you want to do it? I mean, do you really want it or you don't? So I decided I really want it. So then I said, okay, if you really want it, you must start it differently. So I went back there on the next day and I started very slow. Because on the first day I had a lot of pressure on me from my teammates and everything. So I said, this is wrong. So go there without thinking of all the other people, without thinking of the Ferrari people, without the championship, nothing. So I went back there and I started driving around very slow. Then I went a little quicker and a little quicker. And slowly I got confident again in my capability of driving. I ended up that day as the quickest Ferrari driver of the three. There was Regazzoni, Dan Reutemann, so I was the quickest, which gave me suddenly a lot of confidence again, because I said, it's getting better. And the race for me was the most important race, because I think I was 5th or 6th on the grid, I can't remember, but they invented the new system of starting. No more the flag, they invented the lights, and I didn't know. So I was there, I put my car out of gear, and suddenly the green light is on, and everybody passed me. I think I was 20th in the first lap. And suddenly again, I was faced with a completely different situation I was planned for, and I had to pass 20 cars, which is very hard when you're frightened, because you never want to get close. So I had to. And then, for example, I remember I came behind Brambilla, which was at the time the most difficult guy to pass, to be polite. And I said, shit, now there's this guy in front of me, you know? And then slowly I got confident, and I think I finished the race 3rd or 4th, which then I was happy, because I had all the shit in the beginning of the race, being not able to start correct and all that. And then I worked my way through. And this was a very quick step back into racing. But then I had similar problems, I would say, for half a year. 3 or 4 or 5, 6 races, because then the season was over. And I would say even in '77, the first 3 races, I had difficulties like this, but much less. And I think the only way to overcome fear today is with confidence. Because if you are confident in your capability of driving, then you don't need to be frightened. And I think this reflects also to other situations in life. If you're confident that you can handle this situation, then you will go into it and you will do it. If you're weak, then fear comes, and then everything duplicates, and then everything is going to be difficult.
Nick, eu imagino como deve ter sido difícil para você a primeira vez que você se viu no espelho com o teu rosto queimado. Você sentiu raiva ou alegria por estar vivo?
I tell you, I had a very funny moment in hospital too. After about 3 or 4 days, they showed me a mirror, and my face was, from my shoulders on, blown up like this because I had 800 degrees of heat. My face was as a balloon, looking like a pig. My eyes just little stripes, and I had to open one eye to look. So I never forget that first look of my face, because I looked in the mirror and said, shit, you know, it can't be me. But then the doctors explained to me that it will all go away because it's only water and things. So then I had to have these operations where they put the skin from the leg up here and the ear and did all that. Then again, I had one other thing. Sure, you don't look nice. I remember, I mean, when you look at it, it's frightening. I mean, there's no question. But then I came home the first day, because I left the hospital because I couldn't stand the hospital. So I asked the doctors if they could release me and let me go home, because at home I feel different. I couldn't sleep in the hospital anymore, because as soon as I got better, I think all the shock came on me, and then I was just crazy. I couldn't stay there anymore. So I went home, and I remember I told to somebody they should ask the farmer, which lives next to me, to come up, because the farmer is a man who is only down to earth with his cows, with his pigs. He's not a city man, you know what I mean? He will have no crazy influence in his head. He's down to earth. So I thought, I'm going to check his reaction, how I look. So I put myself into a position where I could see him come in. You know, I was really looking terrible, I remember, because everything was blood and black and shit. Anyway, he came in with his Virginia cigar, with his funny head on. He looked at me and looked right away. So I said, shit, I must really look terrible, because if this guy has problems, who really is a down-to-earth man, can you imagine civilized people, what they would think? So then again I thought, what can you do about it? I mean, this is the way it is. So therefore I thought, if the people speak to me or be nice to me only because the way I look, or the way you look, or anybody looks, I think it's shit anyway. You need to be much more secure what you expect from people than only the look of it. So from that point of view, I finished this discussion. So this is the way I'm going to look for the rest of your life, so there's no point to worry about it.